Let's hear from David Moyes, of course, once manager of Manchester United, these days a growing in popularity figure at West Ham, and he's excited for 2,000 Hammers fans to return to the bowl of disappointment today.
We've been waiting on them coming back for months, like every club. We've been so pleased that we're results, especially staying up last year. We didn't have them at the games in that period when I knew we would miss them, and obviously we've had a good start to this season, and them not being there to see it happening. It's a start. We've got a great stadium, and I hope that it won't be too long till we're able to fill it with them all.
David Moyes, West Ham's boss, speaking ahead of the game against United today. Kid Simons, quick question on the fans coming back. Listeners, I'm sure, will be aware at this point, but maybe not. We're in a tiered system in the UK right now, so Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3. If you're in Tier 1, you can have fans back. I think that means Isle of Wight FC get fans back, and that's about it. Tier 2, which London is in and Liverpool is in, gets up to 2,000 fans, and if you're in the next tier, you can have 4,000, but nobody is in that tier at the moment. 2,000 fans back in this one, Kit. Will it make a difference?
Yeah, I think so. I would imagine that those 2,000 that go in are going to make as much noise as they possibly can, and it won't be the same, of course not, but it's progress, it's a start, and I think most people would be delighted to see the fans coming back. Obviously there's been a little bit about, is it fair, because because of the tier system, some clubs can have fans, some clubs can't, but I think just anything to get football fans back in the ground has got to be a good thing.
No money going to be made off this at the moment. I think it's a bit of a test case for a lot of these clubs to prove they can do it safely, and hopefully they can. On the game West Ham against Manchester United, the Hammers go into it higher in the table. It's funny with David Moyes, isn't it, because he was sort of laughed out of Manchester United and has been a bit in the managerial wilderness. Didn't go well at Sunderland for him, a club you know well. Didn't work out particularly when he went to Spain either, and was sacked at West Ham after doing an alright job in his first spell in charge. But there are certainly signs he's getting things right now.
Yeah, there certainly are. I mean, Jose Mourinho was sort of laughed out of Man United as well, yes, to an extent, and he's not doing too bad. And
Solskjaer's laughing in.
Well, that's right. So, certain clubs suit certain people and managers, and it's timing. There's so many things that come into play as to whether you're actually going to be successful or not at a football club. Now, he's certainly come in at this season. I think West Ham fans overall will be delighted with what they're seeing, where they are in the league, how they're playing. So I think overall you've got to say he's done a very, very good job. Obviously talk about a new contract being signed now, so he's certainly steadied the ship there, I think.
And a quick one on Manchester United. Are we going to get through a game involving the Red Devils where post-match we're not having either Solskjaer's got to go or Solskjaer's the new Fergie conversations?
Well, no, I think it will be one or the other, because that's how they are. They're so up and down and inconsistent. They can be brilliant, but they can also look quite abject and pedestrian. So you don't know which one you're going to get, and depending on which one you do get, that's what the furore is going to be all about. Either he's brilliant or he's hopeless, and probably somewhere in between, really, I'd imagine.
Tough game for both of those sides following our game here. West Ham United take on Manchester United. Russell Hargreaves and Gabby Agbonlahor, your commentary team for that one. A Sunday, 4 games in the Premier League, including the North London derby between Tottenham and Arsenal, and 1 Monday night football this week, Brighton against Southampton. Don't call that a derby, it winds them right up on the south coast when you do that. Our game here comes from the Etihad Stadium. Manchester City take on Fulham. Let's hear from David Moyes, of course, once manager of Manchester United. These Loftus-Cheek can bring them clear. Right-footed from the halfway, over the top for the runner Lookman, but far too heavy from Loftus-Cheek all the way through to Ederson.
Should have been the first goal. Great chance for Sterling, perfectly weighted pass, slid him in. Keeper comes out and makes a good save, to be honest, and to be fair to Fulham, but should be 1-0 Man City. It's what Fulham can't afford to do. It came from a cheap giveaway from them, and then everyone's backing off, and City break so quickly. Then Burnley did this last week, gave a poor defending for 3 of the goals at least, and City don't need a helping hand. They're good enough, but if you do, you're going to get punished, and Fulham can't afford to do that.
No goals in his last 6, Raheem Sterling, despite being City's top scorer this season. That was a really, really good chance. Areola makes his first and I'm sure not last save of the match. Ball was loose over on this near side here, midway in Fulham territory. Robinson and Cancelo going for a loose ball. Cancelo thought he was fouled. Referee John Marsh did not agree, and it will go all the way into touch for a goal kick to Fulham. And their goalkeeper Alphonse Areola, decked out all in purple, away to our right, places the ball down.
Yeah, just on that chance, we're seeing it again for Raheem Sterling. It's a counter because Fulham, decent possession, suddenly give it away. City break so quickly. Bobby Reid, who's playing more or less as a right wing back and very deep, he was just caught a bit higher up, and the ball was slipped inside and into Sterling, who should really have scored.
De Bruyne wins the ball in the centre circle and slips in Raheem Sterling, who's one-on-one with the goalkeeper again, and he missed the first chance but doesn't miss the second. Slots the ball into the bottom corner, and Manchester City have an early lead here. Raheem Sterling's Premier League goal drought is over. 1-0.
Yeah, really good goal from Man City. We're just not criticising Sterling, but saying we felt he should have scored, and this time the chance comes on the other side on his right first. Brilliant from De Bruyne. Great pace and power to break forward. Sterling gets between the two centre halves and he's just too quick for them, and a really good finish this time, just rolls the ball into the far corner and across Areola. But a very, very good goal, but made and created by Kevin De Bruyne with power, pace, and then a perfectly weighted pass, and a really good finish from Sterling.
6 games in all competitions for Raheem Sterling without a goal. It was 3 in the Premier League. He has scored once again, and that is a fantastic way to start the game for Manchester City. Kit, before the game, as everyone kind of discusses when you go away to Man City, one of the first things we always say is try not to concede early. So that's already a plan out of the window.
Absolutely. But I mean, Fulham can't change now. You know, they'll keep playing the same way as they've set up, but it makes life a lot more difficult for them, that is for sure.
6 minutes gone. Manchester City leading Fulham by a goal to 0. Raheem Sterling on the score sheet. Ball with John Stones in his own 6-yard box. Fires one upfield towards Kevin De Bruyne, who miscontrols. I know it felt strange saying that, as I'm sure it felt strange hearing it, but he did. And Fulham win the ball back. They work it back towards their central defensive pairing. Andersen to his right, and Aina scored that wonder goal, didn't he, against West Bromwich Albion. Ola Aina, left-footed drive in the top corner. Offensively has impressed this season. Defensively got lots of work to do here. Forward pass goes into touch. That'll be a Man City throw.
Yeah, it was just a little bit of a mismatch for the goal. It ended up Joachim Andersen against Raheem Sterling, who's just too quick for him. Got down the side and as I said, was able to roll the ball into the far corner. But really good goal from Man City and a real positive start from them.
Here's Kevin De Bruyne just inside Fulham territory. Good win by Zambo Anguissa, who drives forward down the right hand side. Forward to Lookman, corner of the area. Couple of step overs, takes this shot, blocked by Ruben Diaz. Ball is spinning, it's looping. Hits the roof of the net. That's a corner for Fulham.
Again, excellent again from Anguissa, bursting forward from that Fulham midfield. And for me, he's arguably in the Premier League probably their best player, Fulham. And he hadn't been in the team till sort of in and out, and then played obviously in that Leicester game and put in a real good performance. But he looks a real player.
Very strong start so far in the central midfield for Anguissa. And the central midfield partner Harrison Reed will deliver this corner from the attacking right hand side. Loop ball in, 5 at the back post, 1 by Fulham head. It was Adarabioyo there with the header. Went a cross goal, and City will clear it away in the left back area. Up to Raheem Sterling, pressure on him from Cavaleiro. Ball back to Mendy. 4 players chasing him down, but that's no trouble for players trained by Pep Guardiola. They work their way out of that situation.
Yeah, there's a really good chance actually. Fulham overloaded the back post, and there's a decent ball in, just quite a lofty ball to that back post area. Adarabioyo got a completely free header on it. Should have actually done a lot better than what he did, and City got away a little bit there. They don't always look the strongest or the most secure defensively, Man City set pieces, and Fulham have got some big lads in there.
City coming forward. Kevin De Bruyne, edge of the area, 1-2 with Mahrez, looks to slip in Jesus. Andersen up in the air. Aina back to his goalkeeper Areola. Calm defending from Ola Aina there, under pressure from Man City's forward stars. for a moment there. Andersen, a touch of panic from him, not what we're used to seeing from the man who captains Fulham today.
No, he's normally fairly composed, but the City have, like I said, they've started the game very brightly, and they've got so many runners in and around that Fulham penalty box and people looking to break the lines, and yeah, it's a little bit nervous defensively from Fulham there today.
Approaching 10 minutes gone here, 1-0 to Manchester City. Raheem Sterling with the early goal. Would have been very interesting to see what Adarabioyo did should he have scored. He signed for Fulham from Man City, associated with the club from the age of 5, before moving to Fulham on a permanent basis during the summer transfer window. Wasn't loaned at Blackburn Rovers in the Championship for a while. I saw him in a game which I'm pretty sure was his debut for Man City in the FA Cup against Chelsea a few years ago, where he looked like he was going to become a real top defender. It's a big season for him at 23. Obviously, he thought it wasn't going to happen for him at Manchester City.
Yeah, he's a young player, not that much experience, like you say, and they'll be looking for him to sort of grow up and grow in stature very, very quickly if Fulham are to stay in this division.
Missed not a sitter, but a decent chance a few moments ago at the other end. He's got more defending to do here. 10 minutes gone, 1-0 to Manchester City. Ball on the right hand side with Cancelo. Back to John Stones on the halfway. Rodri drops in to the centre circle and finds a forward pass to Ilkay Gundogan. Back to John Stones again. Cancelo right hand side, dummies to pass forward, drew in Robinson briefly before passing back towards Stones, who finds Ruben Diaz forward to Rodri. Bit of space to exploit now as they drew Cavaleiro from position. Forward to Cancelo, approaching the penalty area. Away from Reid, takes a left-footed shot, João Cancelo. It briefly opened up for him, but the execution was poor.
Yeah, it was a good bit of skill in the end. De Bruyne went outside him and he sort of used him as a bit of a decoy, cut back inside, but you never really fancied him too much on his left foot, sort of 20, 22, 23 yards out, trying to bend it in the far corner, and high, wide and handsome, I think would be fair to say.
Well, they haven't been overwhelmed so far by Manchester City. Fulham, despite conceding that 5th minute goal, they're still very much in this game. They're still very much, as Kit suggested, following the pre-match game plan. 1-0 down to Man City in this game, I imagine, is in the game plan.
And you can already see, we spoke at the start about, Mitrovic or Cavaleiro. Already Cavalleiro's been quite in the game for Fulham, and they look to get him down the sides of the centre-backs, because they know the two Man City full-backs will push on high up the pitch, and they're looking to get the Cavaleiro down the sides of the two centre-backs into those channels, and they've done it a few times already to decent effect, and he's more mobile and quicker and is willing to do those sort of runs, Cavaleiro, but Mitrovic wants to stay more central.
On the other end, City looking for a second here. De Bruyne slips in. Cancelo running in between two defenders, edge of the area. He does get the cross in, but Andersen clears it away. Fulham captain well positioned. Goes out for a corner on the attacking right-hand side for Manchester City.
Yeah, it was just his first touch, Cancelo. It took him a little bit too wide. He had to try and cross a better touch, and he could have been shooting there.
Corner taken short. Gundogan swings it in from the edge of the area, cleared away, recovered by Mendy. Centre of the field, he chips it out right. Lovely first touch by Riyad Mahrez. Return to Kevin De Bruyne, who shoots, and that's a really good save. Left hand goes up from Areola. There was a big deflection on the shot. He's diving one way, switches direction, gets the hand up and tips it wide.
Yeah, it was a really, really good save. De Bruyne took his shot quick. Great reverse pass from Mahrez. Takes his shot quick. It deflects off Harrison Reed, and it's a great reflex save. Really, really good save.
Mahrez short to Kevin De Bruyne from the corner. Back to Gundogan again. Shouts of up from the Fulham defence. Heeded by the teammates of Andersen. Cancelo chips it right to left, trying to release Ruben Diaz. The diagonal was just a touch heavy. Diaz couldn't turn that goalwards. Out of play for a Fulham goal kick. 14 minutes gone, it's 1-0 to Manchester City.
Yeah, and City looking really dominant and very dangerous every time they go forward. This is sort of what's been missing a little bit, Tom, this season, those forward runners, and teams will defend their own penalty box against Man City. Of course they're going to do that. But City haven't looked this season like they've got enough to break teams down, but today they've got different options and people breaking the line and running beyond and timing their movements really well, and they're creating chances and looking very dangerous.
Fulham looking to respond here with Anthony Robinson, carries towards the halfway line. Back towards Harrison Reid, who says he likes to do the dirty work for this team. That's a good forward pass from him. Into the feet of Ademola Lookman. Made up for his Panenka penalty howler at West Ham with a goal at the King Power on Monday. Into his feet again over on this left-hand side. Short to Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Good technical players in this Fulham side. Into Cavaleiro. Tries to return to Robinson, but John Stones had read it. Passes back to Ederson and takes the ball back at feet. John Stones on the end line right-hand side. Forward to João Cancelo. Back to John Stones. City come forward. Fulham drop off the temporary high press and allow Manchester City to make it halfway through their own half. They do have players, though, Kit, to Fulham, who could cause some damage. Lookman, Loftus-Cheek, technically very gifted.
Yeah, definitely. And they've got some decent athleticism in there as well, and pace that can cause teams problem. Bobby Reid is playing like more or less as a right wing back. He can get forward at pace and cause teams problems as well. So going forward, they will at some stage create some good opportunities. You would like to think, and it's down to them just to take them.
15 minutes on the clock. Possession stats at this point 71-29 in Manchester City's favour, who have had 4 shots on goal, 2 on target, 1 from Raheem Sterling finding the back of the net. And on the ball now with Gundogan in the centre circle in the Fulham half. On to Ruben Dias on his left, into the feet of Gabriel Jesus, who I don't think touched the ball until that point. Bizarrely, Mendy will find Gundogan into Kevin De Bruyne, on towards Cancelo, right hand side. Low cross comes in. Gundogan's first time effort just got too much on it there. The ball was fired into him and he tried to use the pace of that ball to change its direction. He did, but couldn't get it down.
Yeah, just finding a few little pockets of space, Man City. So Fulham are dropping off as a back 5, but then they're finding little pockets just in between the midfield and the front line. So they need to be aware of that, Fulham, and try and shut those gaps down.
Not a regular goal scorer, Ilkay Gundogan in the centre of midfield, but did open the scoring in last season's FA Cup win against Fulham from the penalty spot. That was a game you were covering, Kit. Have you seen much improvement from Fulham's performance that day to this?
I mean, that was a difficult one, Tom, to be honest. Fulham conceded early again, but they conceded trying to play out from the back, getting caught, and Tim Ream gave away a penalty and got sent off. So very different, and obviously, sort of 10 minutes in and a man down at the Etihad and a goal down, you're certainly chasing. So it was a very difficult afternoon for Fulham that day, and I did feel for them. But overall, they've acquitted themselves reasonably well today. Like I said, there's a few little gaps that City are finding. And they need to be aware, like I say, those mismatches. If you're getting Sterling up against Andersen down the sides 1v1, you're always going to fancy the little striker there. So they need to make sure they get the cover on and no gaps appear.
It was 4-0 in the FA Cup that day. It was the 6th minute Tim Ream was sent off and the penalty was converted. Gabriel Jesus and Bernardo Silva also scored. Jesus with a couple.
Yeah, I think from a City perspective today, now they've got their noses in front here, they expect to go and win this game. But even last week when there's a big win, they want Jesus on the score sheet, really. He's your main striker, and it's just for his confidence and for the good of the team. You want your main striker scoring goals.
2 in the Premier League so far this season for Gabriel Jesus. Last year was his best ever goal scoring campaign for Manchester City. And the questions are certainly out there as to whether he can replace Sergio Aguero in the short term as well as long term.
Well, this is the thing of Aguero now, 32. He is picking up injuries and taking longer to shake them off. So, City do need to find the answer to that question.
Ball is with John Stones in the centre circle for Manchester City. In Fulham territory, finds a short pass to Rodri, further on to Cancelo outside. Into Gundogan, first time forward to Gabriel Jesus, who's pulled away from Harrison Reid. Jesus back to Cancelo, running in field, running Anguissa, back to Rodri, into Stones. Cancelo's come narrow, here he is now, back to Rodri. Jesus, back to Gundogan, here's Cancelo, tries to play in Jesus, but it's good defending there by Fulham. Adarabioyo with the clearance. Saw the run, clears away. Throw into City on the right-hand side. 19 minutes gone, it's 1-0. Raheem Sterling's goal separates the two teams. Here's Cancelo's ball in. Whipped in. Areola was worried about that. He dived for it, got a hand on it, gets it out of play. Wasn't really a City player attacking it, but Areola took no chances. City retake possession. They work it towards the halfway, and John Stones. To his left is Ruben Diaz.
Yeah, they're not always the quickest team to actually put crosses into the box, City. Quite often they'll jack back, whatever. And I think the City players were as surprised as the Fulham ones were that Cancelo put the cross in nice and early. It was a decent ball in as well. And as you said, Tom, Areola a little bit worried. He did get slightest fingertips onto it. If City had a gamble, put a couple more bodies in the box, they could have capitalised on that.
I wouldn't say it was panic from the goalkeeper, but certainly unexpected from the goalkeeper who's really impressed this season, on loan from Paris Saint-Germain. Reid forward into the feet of Ruben Loftus-Cheek, being crowded out by Jesus and Gundogan. Jesus deep again here on the right-hand side. Back infield to Rodri on the halfway line, running infield from right to left. He'll find Cancelo to his right. Edging forward now, Cancelo. Outside of him on the sideline is Riyad Mahrez, approaching the end. Up against Robinson, comes back towards Rodri, edge of the area. Return to Mahrez. Can't beat Anthony Robinson, who defended well there. Tried to almost pass it through his legs.
Well, I think you try to play a 1-2 against his shins, which is one of those cheeky little things that clever forwards do at times, and it kills you as a defender, but that's what he tried to attempt, I think.
You normally only see that in six-a-side football, and usually when it happens, you don't normally see what happens next. I'll leave that to your imagination. Mahrez here. Another run down the right-hand side. Adarabioyo again, getting his body in the way. Heads into touch for a corner to City. 20 minutes gone, they lead 1-0. Riyad Mahrez is the man over the ball. They've taken all of their corners short so far. Manchester City, this will be their third of the match. This one will be whipped in by Riyad Mahrez. Cleared away by Cordova-Reid. Recovered by Cancelo, who goes all the way back to Ederson in goal. What's a good scoreline for half-time here for Manchester City? Are they happy for 1-0, or they want to get this game finished before 45 are up?
Yeah, ideally they'd look for at least one more goal, but I think they'll be happy enough. But then also on the flip side of that, I think Fulham will probably take a 1-0 at half-time now as well. So if that is the score, it'd keep the game finely balanced. But if City keep probing and pressing, I think they would ideally certainly be looking for that second goal to go into the break.
Fulham have the ball with their goalkeeper Areola. They play it out from him to Reid, then Anguissa. And they just about work it out to Robinson left, but his pass infield is intercepted by a City leg, and the home team have the ball again. Mendy over on the left hand side, forward pass slipped in nicely to Kevin De Bruyne, who gets away from Harrison Reed. He goes down, Kevin De Bruyne, and the referee gives a free kick there to Kevin De Bruyne in the battle of the Strawberry Blondes.
Yeah, good referee in there. He just skipped past, tipped the ball up over Harrison Reed. The referee was going to play the advantage, but Anguissa was in a good covering position for his central midfield partner and came across quickly to cover it up, but the referee gave the foul, so good referee. John Moss?
A few teams at the moment going for the two defensive midfielder shape in midfield, and it certainly looks well matched for Fulham today, as it did on Monday against Leicester. As the free kick's taken short, De Bruyne finds Mendy. Mendy's cross in, it's away by Anguissa again. He read that really, really well. Edge of his own 6-yard box. Throw into Man City on the left. Missed so much football, hasn't he, Mendy, since moving to Manchester City. Good to see him fit and playing again. I think there were some doubts about his future, not just because of his poor fitness record as well. Just 60 appearances of the available 193 games City have had since signing for the club.
Yeah, I've sometimes been a little bit critical of him, his end product, that he's sort of disappointed me at times, but I think over recent games he's played a lot better.
Rodri wins it back for City and drives from distance here, some 40 yards out. Not a great strike from Rodri, the central midfielder. Kind of cut across it, didn't connect cleanly, it's always rising, it's always spinning. It just wasn't very good, all right?
No, I think that's fair to say, Tom. I think you've been quite kind to him as well.
Oh, thank you. I'm not usually accused of being very kind.
But you don't normally see Man City players shooting from those sort of distances unless it's Vincent Kompany to win the league or something, you know. They normally sort of pass their way in around the box.
And even when that happened, we all sort of said, don't shoot, don't shoot.
Well, I think Sergio Aguero was saying, don't shoot. Vinny, don't
Yes,
shoot. Vinny, don't shoot. Okay, good shot, good goal.
Feel free to shoot next time. You've earned it. That's about the best attempt of the career of Vincent Kompany. I'm sure there are many other times he did a Rodri. Here's Jesus, flicks it round the corner for Cancelo as City approach the penalty area. Into Raheem Sterling, out of his body. Can he shoot? He's away from Andersen, goes to ground, and that will be a penalty for Manchester City. Joachim Andersen, he's not happy about that. He thinks that Raheem Sterling's taken a tumble, and we do know that Raheem Sterling is adept at winning penalties. We're getting a replay now, and it's a little flick out at the shins from Andersen on Raheem Sterling, who doesn't need a written invitation to hit the deck.
No, he's definitely, as you say, he's flicked his leg up and caught him on his shin. So I don't think there's any doubt this will be given as a penalty. He's not having the best afternoons, Andersen. He got caught out for the first goal. Sterling was just too quick for him down the side. On that occasion again, Sterling's feet just too quick, and he draws him into the challenge, the tackle, flicks against his shin, and you know Sterling's always going to go down in those situations. And now De Bruyne has got the chance for the spot to make it 2-0.
Penalty given, no extensive review from Graham Scott, the VAR, and Kevin De Bruyne, having set up the opening goal, looks to score the second, and does score the second for Manchester City. Goalkeeper dived to his right, the ball went to the other side, and Kevin De Bruyne gives Manchester City a 2-0 advantage on 26 minutes.
Yeah, and fully deserved, you've got to say, Tom. They've been pressing and probing and looking dangerous every time they've gone forward, really. And it was, again, it came from a decent counter-attack from Man City. They won it, broke very quickly, threaded the ball through to Raheem Sterling, who did very well inside the box, looked to get his shot away early. Initially, it closed down, and he just cuts back inside Andersen, who commits himself and flicks the leg out and gives away a clear-cut penalty.
Kevin De Bruyne from the spot, of course, missed one here, didn't he, against Liverpool fairly recently. Did score against Wolves from the spot on the opening weekend of the campaign. And that was an assured penalty there from Kevin De Bruyne. Manchester City now in a commanding position. Fulham at the other end trying to create a chance. Ball slipped in between defenders towards Bobby De Cordova-Reid. Ederson read it well, slides out. Takes a load of the Fulham forward as well as he wins the ball back for Manchester City. I mean, it always looked like an uphill task for Fulham, but it's Himalayan at this point.
Yeah, it is now. Like you said, Tommy, you want to get in half-time 0-0, you got something to go from them, but you know, if it's 2-0 or even more at half-time, it's a real struggle after that. And like I say, it's just a little bit, I felt, just a little bit unfortunate for Fulham. They're playing City on the back of a 5-0 against Burnley. A couple of weeks ago, you would have fancied maybe Fulham to come and frustrate Man City because their lack of goals at that time. But, you know, now they've opened the floodgates, I think they're going to stay open.
At the other end, here's Cavaleiro for Fulham. Strong challenge by Stones, breaks to Raheem Sterling. Scored one, won the penalty for the other. Forward pass towards Riyad Mahrez, intercepted well by Anthony Robinson, who finds a forward pass to Ruben Loftus-Cheek, spins away from Cancelo, but his pass was aiming for Cavaleiro with the outside of his right boot. It was not a good ball, truth be told, and City have won it back, but it's a good challenge by Andersen on the halfway to get Fulham motoring again. Right to De Cordova-Reid. Behind him is Aina. Zambo and Anguissa, back to De Cordova-Reid again, running at Mendy, level with the area, into Anguissa, tries a 1-2, and well, it looked like that's what Bobby De Cordova-Reid wanted, and then sort of pulled out of it. as he went for the return ball and it goes into touch.
Yeah, I think he just saw that Benjamin Mendy had read it, and you know he's quick and strong, Mendy, and Reid, Bobby Cordova-Reid was never going to get around him, so tried to check, but already committed to playing the pass, and he very good defending in the end.
Thus far, Manchester City are cruising, and they are heading out of the Premier League's bottom half. They'll be up to 4th with victory here, though Leicester, West Ham, Southampton, Everton, Wolves all just within a point of where they will be, which kind of shows you how crammed it is in the top half of the table at the moment. The only sides really where there's any gap, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, who look like they're in their own little mini league at the moment. Everyone else is vying to win it at this early stage of the season, and we'll keep it that way until reality hits. Why not? Let's enjoy ourselves for a while.
Yeah, keep it interesting, keep it exciting, why not?
Here's Bobby de Cordova-Reid down the channel towards Cavaleiro. Stones has got there first. He plays it back to Ederson, who come a long way out, and he's actually played it past his own goalkeeper, and it could have got Cavaleiro in. Luckily for Stones, he put a lot of meat on that pass back. It goes for a Fulham corner, but that was nearly a Stones-Ederson howler.
Well, Stones just gave Ederson the death stare there, as if to say, what are you doing? And he does this, Ederson, sometimes, and he's very proactive in his positioning, very aggressive in his starting position, but sometimes you're like, what are you doing? You're like ridiculously out of his box. There's no need for him to come there. He should have stayed away, and Stones has got a point. He played the ball back blind, which he can't do.
Corner comes in, won by Zambo Anguissa, loops it up in the air. That'll be a Man City goal kick.
Yeah, so I don't, well, some of the blame is on Stones because he didn't look before the back pass, but there's no need for Ederson to come. He's completely gambling, and it was really rash from him, and it could have been disastrous for Man City.
Needs to run a good performances, John Stones, you feel, has rather been the forgotten man at Manchester City. He's been playing as of late, but in the last 18 months or so, they've had Fernandinho, a central midfielder, playing in his position in central defence. So a good run in the side without any significant errors, certainly important to the career of John Stones.
Yeah, he's even today, like I say, we talk about that as a mistake, but like I say, for me, I'd blame more Ederson, but he's played really well up to then.
And at the other end's lovely interplay between Mahrez and Sterling. Sterling's volley on target, saved by Areola. Recovered by Mahrez, right-hand side, up against Robinson, into Rodri, onto Cancelo. Cancelo cuts it back, away by Andersen. Forward by Cavaleiro, breaks back to Harrison Reed.
It does just look too easy for Man City today, and you're thinking it's going to be a matter of how many today, and you're looking at 3s, 4s, 5s at least.
Back on the ball again, Manchester City in the centre circle with Kevin De Bruyne.
Just as we said that as we were talking about John Stones, it was him who just stepped in there now to Fulham were trying to counter and trying to break, and he just stepped in and won the ball back, and now City have got easy possession again.
Is the pressure off John Stones a bit because Laporte and Ruben Dias are the preferred central defensive pair? We'll come back to that, as there's a chance maybe here for City to create a chance. Jesus right to Cancelo, held up by Robinson. Cancelo right hand side, 40 yards from goal, finds a poke to Gabriel Jesus. Into Riyad Mahrez, back to Gabriel Jesus, challenged by Harrison Reed, and that goes for a corner to Manchester City.
Yeah, back to your point, Tom. I think it possibly is. I mean, just seeing a chance again from Sterling. It's a lovely little flick ball over. Fulham are keeping a tight line on their penalty box, and he's just scooped over the top, and he strikes it really well, actually. Sterling controls the volley, and it's a good save from Areola.
Corner on the attacking right hand side for City, 2-0 their lead, 34 minutes on the clock. Mahrez delivery towards the edge is cleared away by the head of Cavaleiro, recovered by Kevin De Bruyne under a bit of pressure from Zambo Anguissa, and that's going to be a free kick to City, left hand side, maybe 20 yards over the halfway. Kevin De Bruyne and Anguissa, quick handshake there.
I was saying last week, I don't know why City put so many corners in and they don't play short, because I never really fancy Man City to score direct from a corner. And they looked far more dangerous to me because they're great on the ball and in and around the opposition's penalty box. So I don't know why they don't play more short corners.
I think because they know I'm doing the commentary of this game and I hate short corners. I just can't stand it. Just cross the ball, lads. But maybe not if you're Man City. Gundogan edging his way forward here, pokes towards Riyad Mahrez, one back by Adarabioyo on the edge of his own penalty area, up towards Lookman on the halfway, crowded out by Stones, De Bruyne, Rodri and Mahrez. De Bruyne with the tackle in the end puts both Lookman and the ball into touch for a Fulham throw on the halfway line.
Yeah, good pressure from Man City to win it back. But from a Fulham point of view, you're looking at people like Lookman, Loftus-Cheek. They've just not done enough today. They're good players and they've been playing well. But this is why I think Scott Parker struggles to come up with his best starting 11, because you're never quite sure what you're going to get. Someone like a Loftus-Cheek will be come on and really impact the game as he did against Everton, and looks good coming off the bench or whatever, and then starts him, does well. So you expecting the same again? Not quite the same performance. He'll probably find his way out of the team. But then Scott doesn't know his best starting 11, so he can be very difficult for a manager.
Yeah, no doubt about that for Scott Parker at the moment. The side, the same as the one that won on Monday, but that side itself has very much changed from previous formations and teams picked by Parker. As João Cancelo will know the feeling of being in and out of a side. Carries Manchester City up towards the halfway line. Into Rodri and further left to Raheem Sterling. Poke to Jesus. Back to Benjamin Mendy over on the far side. Still around the halfway line in Manchester City. 10 minutes to go until the half-time whistle plus additional time. City unbeaten in their last 39 Premier League home games against promoted opposition. The last side who just come up to one here in the league, Reading, back in 2007. So historically, they go into this game big favourites. And thus far, the bookies would not be losing out as Ruben Dias overruns it over on the far side. Good pressure from Lookman, but you expect better from Ruben Dias, certainly. He's run into touch for a Fulham throw, but they're in no rush to take it.
No, I think Fulham just need a bit of a breather here, if anything. I think so. Just seeing again, it was a wonderful ball from Mahrez, dinked over the top for the chance for Raheem Sterling about 5 or so minutes ago. Fabulous chance, and City have had numerous opportunities and chances on the Fulham goal already in this first half.
Here's Ruben Loftus-Cheek for Fulham, trying to get them back in this game over on the far side. Back towards Aina. Looks to slip in Ruben Loftus-Cheek, intercepted. Back to Aina again. Another pass from him, intercepted. And now he's out of position, and Manchester City looking to capitalise here with Raheem Sterling. Tries a spinning outside the boot pass into the run of Gabriel Jesus. Goes all the way through to Alphonse Areola in goal. Decked out all in purple. Away to our right. He goes short to Adarabioyo. Wants a pass as the Manchester City former player finds a pass into Andersen to his right, onto Aina, into Bobby Cordova-Reid down the sideline. Nice bit of footwork to get away from Mendy, but it's another loose pass from Fulham. Cleared away by Ruben Dias, up in the air. Returned to him, who heads down into the halfway. Cavaleiro takes over. Fulham come forward. Cordova-Reid with another really useless pass, trying to find either Loftus-Cheek or Lookman. It goes straight to John Stones instead. They are getting in good positions, Fulham, but when they get there, they seemingly can't find a teammate.
Well, they are, and that's the difference from, what difference like a week can make in football. On Monday night against Leicester, they looked really dangerous going forward, and Cordova-Reid was excellent, really, really good. And today he's not really got into the game at all, from the right wing-back position. He's not really been able to trouble City going forward. He's given the ball away cheaply. Loftus-Cheek, who was really good again, has been pretty quiet tonight.
As if to accentuate your point from a few moments ago, you just don't know what you're going to get from these Fulham flair players, which makes it tough for Scott Parker. Andersen, who's given a penalty away, brings Fulham clear here down the left-hand side. Robinson then looks down the line towards the place where he's expecting Cavaleiro to be. He was not. Maybe Cavaliero's being asked to do a bit of a Mikel Antonio job here up front for Fulham, and so far today he's not really had much impact.
No, it's been difficult for him today, I've got to say. He's put a shift in, he's worked hard enough, and certainly early part of the game I made note he was like looking to run the channels, and Fulham found him a few times, but since then City just dominated the game and the ball and everything so much that Fulham have not had any chances really, and even when Fulham then do counter, they're all too deep, and City are actually set up better today, I think, because quite often when City go forward they commit lots of bodies forward and look brilliant going forward, but then they can be very vulnerable to the counter attack. But today they seem to be set up a lot more solid. I think it's a little bit of that and a little bit of Fulham then having so many bodies deep that they can't break or counter against City.
40 minutes gone, 2-0 to Manchester City. Tom Rennie and Kit Simons with you on Premier League Live. Stick with us after this game as we head to London Stadium. Terrible name. West Ham take on Manchester United. Russell Hargreaves and Gabby Agbonlahor, your commentary team for that one. And Chelsea leads later with Barry Swain and Paul Parker. Still with 4 unique time slot kickoffs in the Premier League at the moment. And there will be fans in attendance at both the Bowl of Disappointment and Stamford Bridge. Forward ball into Gundogan here for Manchester City. Poked it out right to Cancelo, who gets there before Robinson, approaching the penalty area. Cross comes in, away by Adarabioyo, into Loftus-Cheek, who's done well there to control on the thigh, then roll Rodri. Carries towards the halfway where he's passed. Cordova-Reid was weak. Kevin De Bruyne read it, and the counter-attack is over. One of those games so far for Ruben Loftus-Cheek, who looked like he was the future of English football during the World Cup a couple of years ago, but has spent most of his time since then injured or on loan.
Yeah, he's certainly a very talented player. I remember watching him in the Chelsea youth team years ago, and that youth cup run, played against Fulham in the final. Very, very talented footballer, but just needs to do it consistently and with that drive week in, week out, which he can do it. And at times, he comes on as a sub, or he can start and do it, but he's doing it consistently week in, week out, and have that real aggressiveness and drive to his game, which I think he sometimes lacks. Gets in a bit of a comfort zone.
24 now, Ruben Loftus-Cheek. He's not exactly a young player in terms of a footballer. He's pretty much into the middle of his career at this point, so it is getting there for Ruben Loftus-Cheek. What sort of career he's going to have? At the moment, he's chasing shadows at the Etihad Stadium. He's closing down Rodri here in the centre circle, who finds a pass right to John Stones, into Jesus, who's come deep again. Reid for company, back to Stones, into Rodri, forward pass intercepted by Zambo Anguissa, who gets away from Sterling and does really well to get away from Mendy. He's over on the sideline here. Anguissa done really, really well to carry Fulham upfield. Back to Aina, reverse pass to Loftus-Cheek, out of his body. Got a pass on here left to Robinson, finds him. Back to Lookman, bit of space in the area for him, closed down now by Cancelo and Gundogan. And Lookman just panicked there in the penalty area. You expect more from Ademola Lookman. And in fact, the challenge from Cancelo has ricocheted back off the shins of Lookman last, and that's a goal kick to Manchester City.
Yeah, I think he just tried to drag the ball back and sort of with his studs and missed it, and then a bit of a panic up and kicked it out of play. But decent opportunity, really. One of the few times Fulham have actually been in the Man City box, and started from good play from Anguissa initially, breaking forward, who shows a great physicality for me, and is a real athlete and a good player.
Fulham pressing high, forcing a mistake briefly from Cancelo, but the deflection on the tackle has fallen to Gundogan, who then looks for Kevin De Bruyne. De Bruyne releasing Raheem Sterling down the left-hand side. Bit too wide there, the pass from Kevin De Bruyne. Sterling did pick it up, looked to cut it back to Kevin De Bruyne in the penalty area. Good defensive work by Ola Aina. Clears the ball away for Fulham, but it's recovered by Ruben Dias on the halfway line. Possession 74-26 in Manchester City's favour, who have had 9 attempts on goal, 5 on target, 2 scored. Clip ball from City there, trying to release Gabriel Jesus. Bounces through to Areola in goal for Fulham. Rolled out to Reid. On to Andersen. Aina miscontrols. Sterling was putting the pressure on, but not particularly high or hard pressure from the Man City man, but Aina just took his eye off the ball.
Well, certainly we were speaking about Man City's problems and not scoring enough goals, but the last 2 weeks they're now creating real good chances, getting those shots on target, and looking so much more of a threat, this is the Man City of old that we expect. And maybe it's a lot to expect. We were expecting this sort of thing week in, week out, and it is so hard to sustain those levels. But they were regularly scoring 3s, 4s, 5s in games.
Yeah.
And like I say, you set your own standards, and Guardiola's a perfectionist, and he will set incredibly high standards. And if City fall below them, then we're going to ask questions, and that's our job, Tom.
Yeah, very much in the mid-table when it comes to scoring goals, as they quite literally are as we go into this match, as Rodri runs into a crowd of Fulham players here, pokes towards Raheem Sterling in the penalty area, gets a snapshot away to Sterling, blocked by the retreating Fulham defence, spins over the top, and that will be a corner kick, but I think Sterling was offside watching the replay here, so it should surely be Fulham free kick. It's not a close decision for the assistant referee, who's not given it, and we don't use VAR for that sort of thing for some reason. City take Kit Simon's advice and go short with a corner and fluff it, but they have won it back on the edge with Mahrez onto Sterling, tries a return to Mahrez, blocked by Tosin Adarabioyo, went to ground, pokes it back to his goalkeeper. Not a back pass though, as he was just putting the block on the cross, and there will be 1 minute added on at the end of the half.
Yes, you said about, would City be happy with the 1-0? We said probably not. So they've got the 2-0 lead. I think Pep Guardiola will be very happy with what he's seen now at half-time. His team in total control and still creating lots of chances, and Fulham have not really had a sniff, to be perfectly honest. So they're looking solid defensively as well, which will please him. And if it's the same sort of story second half, then it's going to be a 4 or a 5, you'd imagine.
There's the half-time whistle at the Etihad Stadium. It's all been a bit too easy for Manchester City so far, scoring early through Raheem Sterling, who then won his side a penalty on 26 minutes, converted by Kevin De Bruyne. As things stand, Man City are getting out of the mid-table doldrums and heading into the Premier League's top 4, unless Fulham can mount a remarkable recovery. They need to show a bit more fight in the second period if that is to happen. Analysis to follow in just a few moments' time. At the break, it's 2-0 to Man City, and you're listening to Premier League Live.
Get ready and hold on tight, because the Premier League is here! Which teams will stay on track, and who'll go off the rail? Get the Irish Sun for top transfer news, exclusive star interviews and opinions from the biggest names in football, plus expert analysis of every action-packed match in our fantastic goals pull-out each weekend. Stay up to speed, because you never know what the Premier League is going to throw up. Pick up the Irish Sun today.
Introducing Guardson Sport. Protect your sporting equipment from COVID-19 for up to 14 days with Guardson Sport Disinfectant Treatment. Ideal in team sport settings with the sharing of balls, rackets, gloves, helmets and all other sporting equipment. Guardson Sport kills COVID-19 on impact, keeping surfaces free from COVID-19 and other viruses and bacteria for up to 14 days by creating a protective polymer layer on application. For more information on Guardson Sport and other quality assured, certified and approved PPE, visit yourcovidprotection.com.
Create the Premier League atmosphere at home with Harvey Norman, the home of the big screen. Feel like you're on the pitch with our stunning range of 4K smart LED and OLED TVs from LG, starting from just $449. Plus, hear every kick, save, tackle, and decision. with LG's best-in-class soundbars. Get TV ready for all the big games with Harvey Norman. Shop online today or safely in our spacious stores. Harvey Norman, home of the big screen.
Let's talk about you looking after your business. Ford, looking after your vehicle. Let's talk hassle-free Ford leasing. Just a fixed monthly payment, no motor tax to deal with, and no maintenance or servicing to pay on selected plans. Get the all-new Ford Kuga from €425 per month. Hassle-free Ford lease. Now we're talking. Search Ford Lease or text Ford to 50015 to speak to us about leasing your next vehicle.
Text cost to standard rate. Price quoted for a Kuga Titanium with no maintenance over 4 years with 3 monthly rentals in advance. 20,000 kilometres per annum. Business users only. Price excludes VAT. Ford Lease is provided by Merriam Fleet Management, trading as Ford Lease.
123ink.ie for all your home office needs, including printers, ink, toners, paper, label markers, binders, pens, bins, batteries, boxes, chalk, compass, files, memory sticks, highlighters, glue, notepads, pencils, Whoa! And we're cheaper than your current supplier. 123ink.ie for home, for office, for less.
At Paddy Power, we know competition for the remote control can be fierce at the weekends. So in order to give the non-football loving occupants of your house something to do, here are some of our top suggestions. Go for a walk. Walk the dog. Go cycling. Cycle the dog. Recycle the dog. Just go! All very good options, we say. And that's not the only one. If one leg of your 4+ fold ACCA lets you down, get a free bet on all football leagues and markets. Paddy Power. Max free bet €10. Min odds 1 to 5 on each leg. Online exclusive. Excludes shop bets. T's and C's apply. 18+. Need help? Visit gamblingcare.ie.
Half-time at the Etihad Stadium. Manchester City 2, Fulham 0. Bruyne wins the ball in the centre circle and slips in Raheem Sterling, who's one-on-one with the goalkeeper again. And he missed the first chance, but doesn't miss the second. Slots the ball into the bottom corner.
Sterling gets between the two centre-halves. He's just too quick for them. And a really good finish this time. Just rolls the ball into the far corner and across Areola. But a very, very good goal. But made and created by Kevin De Bruyne with power, pace, and then a perfectly weighted pass.
Raheem Sterling's Premier League goal drought is over. 1-0. Lovely first touch by Riyad Mahrez. Return to Kevin De Bruyne, who shoots. And that's a really good save. Left hand goes up from Areola. There was a big deflection on the shot. He's diving one way, switches direction, gets the hand up and tips it wide. Into Raheem Sterling, out of his body. Can he shoot? He's away from Andersen, goes to ground, and that will be a penalty. Kevin De Bruyne, having set up the opening goal, looks to score the second and does score the second for Manchester City. Yeah, 2-0 at the break to Man City. Fulham have not troubled the City goal at all. Tom Rennie and Kit Simons with you in the commentary positions. Kit, have you been impressed by Manchester City?
Yeah, very much so. And they've literally carried on where they finished off last week against Burnley. You know, this is the Man City of old that we come to love to watch and expect to see. They've looked very dangerous, scored 2, could have had more. Areola's made a couple of really good saves in the Fulham goal, and they look dangerous every time they go forward.
Let's talk about the 2 goals, starting with Kevin De Bruyne setting up Raheem Sterling. He missed a chance just a couple of moments before Raheem Sterling, but when he actually does score, it really is a superb finish.
Yeah, it was, and it was a brilliant break by Kevin De Bruyne as well. Such, you know, he has got obviously quality on the ball, and he's lovely to watch, but he's a fantastic athlete as well. And he broke forward, real pace and power, and then a perfectly executed weighted pass. De Bruyne Sterling still had quite a lot to do, don't get me wrong, but he's down the side of Joachim Andersen and finished with aplomb. Really good goal.
Raheem Sterling then wins a penalty for Manchester City, the 20th penalty he has won in Premier League history. Nobody in this competition has won more. But I want to ask you about the way he goes down on a wider level, because look, the way the Premier League is and football is, it's a penalty, right? Because there's a little flick out from Andersen, he feels it and jumps to the ground. But if he wasn't going to get rewarded for jumping on the ground, could he have stayed on his feet there?
Possibly, yes. I mean,
so it's a dive then, isn't it?
Well, the contact is made, so a penalty is going to be given.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? So,
fully agreed.
So this is not a Raheem Sterling. This is a football issue.
Yes,
in my opinion, Tom. Do you know what I mean? So, could players stay on their feet more from some of the challenges? Of course they can, 100%. But are they right if there is contact to go down? Now, if there's no contact, then they're diving. that's completely wrong. If the contact is made, then it's clever play or whatever. Do you know what I mean? It's now, like I say, we can either go back to the 1970
yes,
Chelsea,
bring back Eddie McCready,
where you're tackling people around the throat. That was a very, very different game. The game has moved on, and like I say, some of it's for the better, some of it not, potentially. Maybe this is something that rankles on some of us more old-fashioned people like me and you, Tom. But
I just wonder if there's any way that football, and again, I'm not just saying it's a Raheem Sterling thing, it's an everybody thing, it's a football thing across leagues as well, but is there any way to encourage Raheem Sterling in that position to stay on his feet? Because it's silly from Andersen, but it's not enough to see a grown man fall to the ground, right? So how can we stop it? Can it be stopped?
I don't think so, not now.
Well, does it even matter if we don't try and stop it?
Well, I think not. When there's, I think people can be, if they're diving, if there's no contact and they're diving and trying to con the referee. Now, Raheem Sterling's not con the referee because there was contact. It was sloppy play. It was a little bit cumbersome from Joachim Andersen, and he flicks his leg out and catches him on his shin.
Yeah.
So there's contact. So that's poor defending, and it's going to be given as a penalty all day long. It wasn't even a VAR check on this one, and blimey, that's going to right. VAR has checked for everything. So the fact there wasn't even a check means it was a pretty stonewall, clear-cut penalty, which it was.
Absolutely, and converted by Kevin De Bruyne, and it is now 2-0 to City against Fulham. Earlier today, there was a game in the Premier League at Turf Moor between Burnley and Everton. The Clarets have started this season really, really poorly and needed something from this game against an Everton side whose early season bloom has turned somewhat sour. It was watched for us by John Andersen.
Burnley 1, Everton 1. A win would have seen Burnley escape the bottom 3 or Everton return to the top 4, but neither got it in a largely even game. The Clarets couldn't have started better. Robbie Brady, back from injury, finished expertly to put them ahead with only 2 minutes played. But Dominic Calvert-Lewin isn't the Premier League's top scorer for nothing, and he met Richarlison's low cross with a predatory finish, virtually the last touch of the first half, to give Everton parity. Both sides went for it in the second period, but England goalkeepers Jordan Pickford and Nick Pope both made crucial saves at either end to ensure a draw, which was a fair result, although not one that either manager was particularly hoping for. Burnley 1, Everton 1.
John, thank you. Post-game, we heard from both managers. Sean Dyche is talking about the brilliance of both goalkeepers today and Carlo Ancelotti on the performance of James Rodriguez.
Yeah, I thought it was a game of the goalkeepers. I mean, don't get me wrong, I thought both teams having to go to win a game. Moments of quality, moments trying to open up the opposition. But it comes down to two goalkeepers in fine form, I thought. Pope with 2 great saves from his legs, and Pickford with a great save just in front of us, and a couple of good moments when he was needed. So, yeah, I mean, them two have certainly done themselves no harm at all.
No, I think he's already adapted. He had some problems after the derby. He was not able to train properly. Now he's back. He travelled a lot. His condition is improving, and his performance was good because he had good score. He gave an assist to Sigurdsson at the end. As I said, we could win, but we have to accept the result.
Thoughts there of Carlo Ancelotti and Sean Dyche. Burnley are still in the bottom 3, 19 in the table, 6 points, just the 1 win all season, that coming against Crystal Palace a couple of weeks ago. As for Everton, having led the early season table, they are down in 7th as things stands. Man City will get above them if they win this game against Fulham, which currently they are. Later today, 2 further games in the Premier League. West Ham take on Manchester United and Chelsea are up against Leeds. Here we have the second half of Manchester City against Fulham to come. 2-0 for the home side at the break. You're listening to Premier League Live.
Demanding a high performance from your team? You should be demanding the same from your tires. The Irish Tyre Industry Association is urging motorists to stay safe this winter and check the condition of your tires. You could even be liable for a fine and 2 penalty points if found driving with tires below the legal tread depth limit of 1.6 millimeters. ITIA expert technicians will carry out a free tire safety check to ensure your tires are safe and legal. Visit itia.ie to find your local expert.
As Ireland's homegrown insurer,
FPD knows it's empowering when someone has your back. So switch your van insurance to us and get up to 75% no-claim discount. Visit fpd.ie to request a quote. FPD Insurance. Support. It's what we do. Terms, conditions and underwriting criteria apply. 75% no-claims discount is based on proof of 5 years no-claims discount and available to new commercial motor customers only. FPD Insurance Group Limited, trading as FPD Insurance, is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland. Commercial motor insurance is underwritten by FPD Insurance PLC.
Upgrade your home viewing experience at Curry's PC World. See every tackle, shot and goal in crystal clear definition with our huge range of the latest to market large screen TVs with massive savings. Like save up to €250 on Samsung 4K TVs from only $459. And get your TV for half price. 1 in 20 win half their money back. Buy any LG OLED TV to enter with prices from just $1,249. Shop online at currys.ie.
Get ready and hold on tight because the Premier League is here! Which teams will stay on track and who'll go off the rail? Get the Irish Sun for top transfer news, exclusive star interviews and opinions from the biggest names in football. Plus expert analysis of every action-packed match in our fantastic goals pull-out each weekend. Stay up to speed because you never know what the Premier League is going to throw up. Pick up the Irish Sun today.
Introducing Guardson Sport. Protect your sporting equipment from COVID-19 for up to 14 days with Guardson Sport disinfectant treatment. Ideal in team sport settings with the sharing of balls, rackets, gloves, helmets and all other sporting equipment. Guardson Sport kills COVID-19 on impact, keeping surfaces free from COVID-19 and other viruses and bacteria for up to 14 days by creating a protective polymer layer on application. For more information on Guardson Sport and other quality assured, certified and approved PPE, visit yourcovidprotection.com.
At Paddy Power, we know competition for the remote control can be fierce at the weekends. So in order to give the non-football loving occupants of your house something to do, here are some of our top suggestions. Go for a walk. Walk the dog. Go cycling. Cycle the dog. Recycle the dog. Just go! All very good options, we say. And that's not the only one. If one leg of your 4+ fold ACCA lets you down, get a free bet on all football leagues and markets. Paddy Power. Max free bet €10. Min odds 1 to 5 on each leg. Online exclusive. Excludes shop bets. T's and C's apply. 18+. Need help? Visit gamblingcare.ie.
You are listening to TalkSport's coverage of Manchester City 2, Fulham 0 from the Etihad Stadium. I'm your host Tom Rennie. Alongside me is the former Fulham, Manchester City and Crystal Palace defender Kit Symons. This is Premier League Live and the players are just emerging from the tunnel for the start of this second half. Kit, what are we going to see from Fulham in this second period? Is 2-0, 3-0, 4-0 a good result for them? Will there be members of the Fulham staff who are saying to Scott Parker, think about goal difference?
Yes, I mean 3-0, 4-0 is not a good result, no matter what, you know, who you are, who you're playing against. But it's also not an embarrassment to come to Man City and lose by 3 or 4 goals. And if I'm honest, you can't see much of a different outcome unless something changes dramatically. Now, I can't see Fulham going gun-ho to try and get back into this game, because like you say, then I think they could be on the receiving end of a bit of a hammering, and goal difference could well come into play at the end of the season. So it's something you want to be conscious about. If you get out of the Etihad 3 or 4, like I say, it's not an embarrassment. You know, you're not pleased with the result, you're not happy, but it's no means an embarrassment at all. They'll be disappointed because Leicester are a very good side as well, and they went up there and did a good job on Leicester, but Leicester are a bit more open and Fulham caught them on the counter, and they've not been able to do that at all in this first period against Man City. So unless City go chasing it, which they don't need to score more goals, they will just by doing what they did in the first half. And like I said, when they did attack, they did it from quite a solid shape and foundation as well.
No changes for either side at the half-time interval, so Manchester City have Ederson in goal, back 4 left to right of Benjamin Mendy, Ruben Dias, John Stones and João Cancelo. Deep-lying midfielders Ilkay Gundogan and Rodri. Left to right behind the striker Raheem Sterling, Kevin De Bruyne, who captains the side, and Riyad Mahrez. Gabriel Jesus is that striker today. On the bench for City, Zach Steffen, Aymeric Laporte, Bernardo Silva, Ferran Torres, Fernandinho, Phil Foden and Eric Garcia. As for Fulham, they have Alphonse Areola in goal, the Paris Saint-Germain loanee. Left to right back four is Anthony Robinson, tossing Adarabioyo, Joachim Andersen, the captain, and Ola Aina. Andre Frank, Zambo, Anguissa and Harrison Reed, the holding midfielders. Then there's a trio left to right of Ademola Lookman, Ruben Loftus-Cheek and Bobby de Cordova-Reid, with Ivan Cavaleiro, the striker. On the bench it's Marek Rodak, Alexander Mitrovic, Tom Kearney, Tim Ream, Mario Lemina, Joe Bryan and Aboubakar Kamara. Coming forward here, Fulham, with Anguissa back to Reid, edge of the area. Reid forced away and finds a pass back to Adarabioyo. Lob towards Aina, cleared away by Rodri. Recovered though by Andersen, whose forward pass returned towards Aina goes into touch for a throw-in.
Yeah, it looks like could be a slight change of shape from Fulham, going more to a back four with Aina at right back and Bobby de Cordova-Reid being a little bit more central. He's certainly taken up a position slightly more central at the start of this second half. As to whether it is going to be an actual change of shape, we'll have to wait and see.
Certainly a bit of a change in ambition here from Fulham at the start of this second period, spending some time in Manchester City territory. They're attacking the goal away to our right. Yellow shirts, yellow shorts, yellow socks with white trim and navy numbering and lettering today, Fulham. City kick the other way, right to left, as we are looking. Sky blue shirts, white shorts and sky blue socks, with the shirts having that bottom of the swimming pool effect on it this season. Kevin De Bruyne has won a free kick midway inside his own half. The Fulham early attacking draws to a close, and a chance for Manchester City to have their first period of possession and indeed first attack of this second half. Here's Cancelo down the right hand side. He's gone from halfway to penalty area without tackle, and he finds Riyad Mahrez on the end line, right hand side, cuts it back towards Jesus, intercepted by Andersen, cleared away by Fulham, recovered by a combination of Lookman and Cavaleiro. Lookman gets away from Rodri, running now at Stones over the halfway line, pokes it in towards Cavaleiro. It's just behind him there as the attack for a moment looked dangerous, but they had to get all their angles right, Fulham, and couldn't that time.
Yeah, and that's been the difference between today and Monday against Leicester. You know, Fulham were making the most of these opportunities when few and far between when they came around, but today they've just been off it a little bit and not quite right.
City made 2 changes from their last Premier League lineup, 6 changes from the game against Porto away in midweek, so no real excuse for them not to have fresh legs for the second half here. What's a good scoreline for Manchester City at this point, Kit?
I think 4. I think they'll take 4-0 now.
And is it important for them to score a few goals as well, considering before Burnley at least that had been such a big issue for them?
Yeah, well, I think so. On the back of the Burnley result, it's showing everyone, the rest of the Premier League and world football for that matter, that City are back to where they should be, where they expect to be, and scoring goals almost at will. Because everyone I think was a little bit in shock that they dried up. The goals just seemed to have dried up.
Good ball in here by Ola Aina for Fulham, trying to find Cavaleiro, cleared away by Stones, recovered by Lookman, who says he's fouled on the edge by Rodri, not given by the referee John Moss, and Manchester City can break at the other end with Kevin De Bruyne. He's got runners left, runners right, and he finds Jesus for 3, dummies 1, back to Kevin De Bruyne, hits the crossbar, loops up in the air, Kevin De Bruyne again on the volley, this time it's over the crossbar, and it's a slap of the turf from Kevin De Bruyne, frustrated there because that's 2 great chances to score and he's missed them both.
Yeah, really brilliant play from De Bruyne again. He slides Jesus in, he goes to take the shot on his left foot, Jesus, and cuts back, and then unselfishly, to be fair, sets De Bruyne up and it's blocked, and then it comes back to De Bruyne, it's over the bar. But again, Man City just looks so dangerous. Good effort from De Bruyne initially with his left foot hitting the bar, and you can see more goals here, that's for sure.
Kevin De Bruyne, the assist maker king at Manchester City, not a prolific goal scorer in the Premier League this season. He's only scored 2, including the one he put in the back of the net from the penalty spot tonight. He had so many options there for such a long time. Jesus couldn't get the shot away. Well, that's off for Fulham at the start of the second period. Chasing the ball again now, though. City in possession in the Fulham half. Rodri to his left and Gundogan back towards the halfway. And Diaz. Gundogan carries forward. Outside of him is Mendy. Fulham happy for him to have it. Cordova-Reid for company. Back to Kevin De Bruyne. Right-footed, cross-field. Robinson read it. Heads it up in the air, though. Mahrez takes it. Back towards Cancelo. Corner of the area. Return to Riyad Mahrez. Back heel to Cancelo. Cuts it back. Blocked by Adarabioyo. Robinson then beats Mahrez to it, but Mahrez has robbed it back. Keeps it on. Sideline right-hand side. Clever pass to Kevin De Bruyne. Back to Cancelo in the area. Tries to drag the ball away from tossing Adarabioyo, who read it really, really well. Knocks it into touch for a corner.
Yeah, they do look like they're playing the same shape, Fulham, with Bobby Cordova-Reid being that right wing back, trying to get so many bodies in the box for when City do put crosses in or getting down the sides, and it's sort of last scarf defending, because City look really bright today. Like I say, a lot of this season they haven't looked able to break teams down, but they look dangerous every time.
Corner taken short, whipped in now by Cancelo. It's away by Loftus-Cheek. Up further by Cavaleiro, recovered by Mendy. Bit of a lack of composure there from him. He loops it out left to the sideline. Sterling recovers it on towards Jesus. Lovely flick back to Raheem Sterling, who's in the penalty area now. Danger for Fulham. Andersen read it this time. Doesn't aim out a little kick at Raheem Sterling cleverly. Sterling does go to ground though. Fell over rather, and it's into touch for a goal kick.
Yeah, good defending that time from Joachim Andersen. Not had the best, well, certainly in the first half. He got caught out on a couple of occasions by Man City. One for the Sterling first goal, one for the penalty on Sterling. But this time he used his body really well, and he's a big lad, so he got his body in between man and ball, and there's no way Raheem Sterling could get around him.
Brought in from Lyon on loan this season, Andersen. Damaged his ankle ligaments like 2 days after signing, so missed a couple of games, but has since returned to the side. He was a £30 million signing when he joined Lyon. Had some issues there, which saw him fall out of the first team picture, and now he's captaining Fulham in the Premier League. It's quite the journey. And he's got work to do here with his side 2-0 down. Ball is back with Ederson, the goalkeeper for Manchester City, decked out all in black, shirt, shorts, socks and tights, white boots though. Forward to Mendy, back to him again in the 6-yard box. Short to John Stones, who can carry City upfield. No real pressure from Fulham as Manchester City labour their way towards the halfway. In front of Pep Guardiola, on the edge of his technical area, is Mendy. Lobs it forward towards Sterling. Cleared away by Fulham. First Andersen, then Anguissa, then Reid, before Cordova-Reid is bundled over by the advancing Mendy. Well, it's a decent start to this half for Fulham. They've just sort of taken their foot off the gas a touch since then. One goal would fill this side with confidence. They are not out of it yet at 2-0. And they do have goal-scoring threats on the field, and indeed off. Alexander Mitrovic has just been putting his shin pads on.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see how long before Scott Parker does make any changes. I think we'll probably see the first one around the 60-minute mark at least. At least one player coming on. You've got like Mitrovic, Tom Cairney would be obvious ones to get on the field.
The ball towards Riyad Mahrez here from City, well read by Adarabioyo, finds a poke towards Robinson, carries Fulham to the halfway. Harrison Reed, found by a short pass from Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Cavaleiro takes over on the left. Held up by Rodri, back to Loftus-Cheek. He finds a pass on the floor back to Anguissa. Chips it forward, Anguissa, and there's a slight hesitation there from Cancelo and Stones, which allowed Cavaleiro a sight of the bounce, but Ederson read it well, came off his line. City moving again with Gundogan. Over the halfway to Raheem Sterling. Into Kevin De Bruyne. Left to Mendy, who just had to stop his advancing run to keep City in possession. Back to Raheem Sterling. Here's Gundogan towards the centre circle, and Rodri. Out wide to João Cancelo. Here's John Stones. Stones forward. Back from Mahrez into Ruben Diaz in the centre circle. City have possession. Gundogan forward. Gabriel Jesus flick to Kevin De Bruyne. Challenged by Harrison Reed. And then De Bruyne is adjudged to have shoved Harrison Reed before Jesus nicked it back, and that will be a Fulham free kick midway inside their own half centre of the pitch.
Been impressed with Cancelo today, Tom. I think he's done really well for Man City. Got forward with real quality and to good effect, but also his recovery's been good. He's got back in to his defensive position nice and quick as well when Fulham, the few times they have tried to break forward and counter. So I think he's really impressed me today.
Has very much been Kyle Walker's position this season. He started every single game in the Premier League before tonight. Kyle Walker's. Cancelo has been playing at left back when he has played. Kyle Walker just given a bit of a rest today following his ever-present run in the Premier League and indeed playing in the Champions League against Porto in midweek. Fulham have won a corner here. High ball in towards the penalty area. Came off a City head last, and could be a real opportunity here for Harrison Reed to whip one in. Go short to Lookman. Back to Cavaleiro. Diagonal is fired in. It's away by Stones. Robinson wins the loose ball on the edge of the area. Mahrez the next one. Robinson the next one. Rodri gets it down and loops one towards Mahrez. And Mahrez slips in Kevin De Bruyne here. And suddenly City are through on goal. And Kevin De Bruyne has fired it straight into the shins of Areola, who came off his line quickly. And that'll be a City corner at the other end.
That's another really good save. But it comes from a Fulham corner, and then City just counters so quickly. It comes to De Bruyne, and you fancy him all day long. He's on his left foot, mind, but Areola's very quick to come out, shorten the angle down and smother the ball away. So really smart goalkeeping. He's made 3 excellent saves today for Fulham.
From the corner, De Bruyne finds Gundogan, up towards Ruben Dias, cuts it back, away by Loftus-Cheek. Ball had gone out of play before Ruben Dias was able to head the ball back into the danger zone, and that's a Fulham goal kick.
Yeah, another decent opportunity there. They had a bit of an overload at the back post, but he just overran the ball. Diaz let it go out of play before he headed it back across. But again, Man City looks so dangerous on the counter-attack, and Fulham will have to be aware of this. That's how they look like scoring. That's how they've created the chances. The chance in the first half, Sterling's chance after 3 minutes was a turnover. Loftus-Cheek robbed on the ball, and Man City are able to break, and they're just so quick counter-attacking.
From the goal kick from Areola, City turn it forward behind Andersen, and Jesus was chasing him down there, and he got so close to his goalkeeper in the end. He just kicks it into touch on this side for a throw-in, which Mendy has taken, receives it back, surely being fouled there by Anguissa. John Moss doesn't give it. Goes out for a City throw. Mendy, no real complaints from him. That goes to our half-time argument. You've got to kind of jump on the ground to get a free kick from referees, and he didn't, so doesn't. Maybe that's why they do it. Well, it is why they do it.
I do think the one thing from a City point of view, though, they're creating so many chances, but these chances are falling to Sterling, falling to De Bruyne. It's Jesus that is the one you want to be on the end of a lot of these chances, just for the team's confidence and for his individual confidence. And he just doesn't seem to be in the right positions. Quite often Sterling is the one who's Jesus will come out of that centre forward position, and Sterling will go in there, and that's how he's won the penalty and scored his goal from those inside channels. But Jesus does an awful lot of hard work, but quite often he's the one coming deeper to try and link it, and not necessarily the one running in behind.
60 minutes gone, 2-0 to Manchester City, both goals coming in the first half. Raheem Sterling in the 5th minute, Kevin De Bruyne with a penalty in the 26th. Penalty won by Raheem Sterling, the 20th time he's won a penalty in the Premier League across his time at Liverpool and Manchester City, and that is more than any other player in the history of this competition. Ball is with the former Manchester City player Tosin Adarabioyo. Finds a pass left to Anthony Robinson on the halfway. Forward to Ruben Loftus-Cheek. You can see he could be such a commanding presence on the ball, but this time plays a ball backwards. Up towards Cavaleiro, intercepted by Stones. Cancelo can bring City away. Lookman holds him up. Back towards Rodri. Rodri finds a pass left to Ruben Dias. Dias heads towards the halfway. Short to Ilkay Gundogan.
he certainly brings an assuredness to the Man City backline, Diaz. I do like him as a player. And, I mean, when he first came in, everyone thought it was going to be him and Laporte forging this partnership. But, at the moment, Stones is playing well, taking his chance. So, could be Stones and Diaz even. But I still think a fully fit Aymeric Laporte and Diaz would be the best partnership, and a very, very good one.
Yeah, they're certainly being protective of Aymeric Laporte, considering the injury issues he's had both last season for a long time and this as well. So it may well lead to plenty of minutes for John Stones this season that maybe he wasn't expecting. Clean sheets will certainly help his case too. Here he is on the ball now on the halfway. Nice pass slipped in between two Fulham players to Kevin De Bruyne. First time back to Diaz, on towards Mendy. Mendy's cross into Jesus, cleared by Adarabioyo. Could have gone anywhere, hit the backside of Jesus and ricocheted to Areola, the goalkeeper. Lookman's forward pass finds Loftus-Cheek. Nice 1-2 between the pair. Lookman carries towards the halfway, but his drag back turn is intercepted by Rodri, and then Raheem Sterling. Well, he gets away from Lookman, who tried to hold him back, but rather half-heartedly, so Sterling just continues to run forward. Strong challenge by Robinson there on Mahrez. Ball breaks to Cancelo. He could have played in Kevin De Bruyne, held it for another second, then looked to slip him in, but De Bruyne would have been offside at that time. Goes out for a goal kick.
Yeah, I had to play it straight away. It was on. De Bruyne had made his run, and he had the opportunity to play him, but as soon as he took that one extra touch, De Bruyne had to check his run because he'd already gone offside. So yeah, poor play that time. I think he's had a really good game, Cancelo, but that was probably his first mistake of the day.
Manchester City back in action against Marseille in a Champions League dead rubber on Wednesday, though they do need to play the game, so 11 players will play in that one, which means I wonder whether they might think about resting a few players at this point. Rotation so important with the big squads, with more games to play. We don't have the 5 subs in the Premier League, much to the chagrin of the top bosses, but you would still expect the 3 to be used, and maybe a third goal is what's needed for Guardiola before that starts to happen. Here's their most important player, Kevin De Bruyne, driving forward from the centre. Good defensive work by Anguissa, not for the first time today for Fulham. Strong challenge, finds Reid. Fulham on the ball again.
Yeah, I mean, you look at that Man City bench as well. If they're all playing midweek, that's not a bad team. They've got obviously people like young Liam Delap who'd be chomping at the bit to get some first team action. So I mean, you've got such a strong squad.
Jesus, who Guardiola would love to see score today, I'm sure, in the centre circle, finds Riyad Mahrez. Back to Rodri, to his left is Gundogan. Further on now to Mendy, into Sterling, to Kevin De Bruyne. It's walking pace for Manchester City around the centre of the field, and Fulham aren't too unhappy with that. Possession stats across the match, 73-27 in favour of Manchester City, who've had 13 shots, 6 on target, compared to 3 efforts from Fulham, none of which have troubled Ederson thus far. Might be an exercise in resting a few players for Scott Parker as well. Up next for them, the game against Liverpool at the Cottage, where they're not going to see much of the ball again. Crossed by Cancelo here on the right hand side, intercepted by Adarabioyo, who's been busy today. Corner for Manchester City.
Yeah, he's defended pretty well, Adarabioyo. You've got to say, he's positionally, I think he's done very well. He's got a lot of blocks and interceptions in, and he's probably looking the best of those Fulham defenders out there today.
Corner on the right hand side for Manchester City, which Mahrez will take. Back to Kevin De Bruyne. Another attempt from Kevin De Bruyne today. Has scored 1, could have scored 4. This one goes over the top.
Yeah, again a bit of a difference from a corner. They're Mahrez trying to play it to the edge of the box, or just inside the box with De Bruyne, who's on his right foot as well, and technically it was difficult to control and keep the shot down, but he's so good technically, you wouldn't have been surprised to see it flying into the back of the net, but just got slightly under it on this occasion. It went wide of the target.
Here comes City again with Raheem Sterling, looks to play in Kevin De Bruyne. A good challenge, not for the first time, by Adarabioyo. And City have now got to try and catch Anthony Robinson. Nice turn of pace from him. Pokes it down the line towards Lookman. Cancelo goes to ground with a sliding challenge. Recovered by Robinson. On to Lookman again. Shouts of offside. Not given. and then given after a brief delay. It would seem the assistant referee was 100% sure, and also didn't think there was going to be a goal-scoring chance from that as well. And Scott Parker is certainly having a strong word with Darren Bond, the fourth official. We're seeing the replay now, and he is offside, seemingly, from our viewpoint, but protocol is these days to let the play roll on if there is a close decision. So not sure whether the assistant referee, I think it's Mark Perry on that side, made the right call there. A bit of a break in play here because Adarabioyo has gone down injured, holding his left shin, and that's a real shame considering he's left City to go to Fulham to get some football. Hopefully this is not too much of a problem.
Yeah, it looks like Lemina is stripped off on the bench, as if he's about to come on. Whether it's for Adarabioyo will remain to be seen, but it'd be a shame if he does go off because, as you say, an ex-City player, and also I think he's played very well for Fulham today, and going forward as well, he's going to be really important if they want to stay in this division, because they'll need some strong defensive displays from him.
Well, we are hearing from our colleagues pitch side that 2 changes were being planned for Fulham. Bobby de Cordova-Reid and Harrison Reed to be withdrawn. Mario Lemina, who just saw getting ready, and Abubakar Kamara were the 2 who were going to come on. That may well change now with this injury to Adarabioyo. Looks like on a replay we've just been given that he was rather accidentally clattered into by Kevin De Bruyne just a few moments ago. No studs or anything like that, so just shin on De Bruyne's leg from Adarabioyo, so hopefully he will be able to carry on. Harrison Reed going off, and is that because maybe Liverpool coming up next week, lots of yardage covered today, and it's a sort of resting for next week situation?
Yeah, I think so, and also it's again there's a little bit like I say, I'm not sure Scott Parker does know necessarily what his best starting 11 is. He's bringing on Lemina, who had been starting up to the last couple of weeks, so it's a fairly like-for-like substitution, and they've done a lot of work, Fulham, because they've not had the ball. They've just been chasing for the vast majority of this game. So these boys in central midfield would be putting a proper shift in and covering some ground, and yeah, he is an important player for them. I think Harrison Reed, he's done well for Fulham.
Lemina is on loan from Southampton this season. He drew the ire of Ralph Hasenhuttl at Southampton last season by declaring publicly he'd like to leave the club. It didn't go down well, as you'd imagine, with the Alpine Klopp, as they like to call him. I don't, but gotta have a bit of fun, haven't you, eh? Not much going on in the game, to be fair, so just bringing out the anecdotes now, the tidbits, keeping people going. The de Cordova-Reid substitution has just been put on ice for a few moments. Camera still ready to come on as Riyad Mahrez for Man City gets them down the sideline, and Adarabioyo is back on. Looks like he's moving fairly freely. I don't think there'll be any cause to take him off.
No, I think he's right. He looked like he got a clatter at the top of his hip. He just ran into De Bruyne when he came out to make an interception. Nothing in it, they just collided, but yeah, just caught the top of his hip flexor, it looked like, but I'm sure he's right now.
69 minutes gone. 2-0 to Manchester City against Fulham. Corner to City on the attacking right-hand side. Flicked on towards Ruben Dias around the penalty spot, left-footed. He loops one over the crossbar. Another chance to get the third that will kill this game off goes begging.
That's right, and all the time it does stay at 2-0. Although City are completely dominating and possession and chances, it only takes something to fall for Fulham, and suddenly 2-1, the whole complexity of the game can change so quickly. So they will be keen to get the third goal. Just looking at Mitrovic on the bench here now, Tom, and he's completely wrapped up. We saw him put his pads on earlier, as if he was almost getting ready to come on, but he's clearly wrapped up very warmly there, and doesn't look like he's coming on anytime soon.
Well, I'm not too sure this is the game for Mitrovic, whose confidence looks dented, physique doesn't look peak, and Cavaleiro still covering lots of yards out there as lone striker, converted winger.
It's also missing that penalty for Serbia in the in the playoff game.
Scotland game, yeah.
You don't know how much that, affects players and can sort of stay with you, and as you say, just dent your confidence.
By the look of him, the cake hasn't helped as well, to be fair. No offence, but come on. You can't get away with being Mickey Quinn these days, can you?
I used to clean his boots.
Did you?
Mickey Quinn.
He used to clean the plate.
Yeah. I used to have to paint on like a Puma stripe over his. He used to wear High-Techs. He was sponsored by High-Tech. I had to paint on a High-Tech stripe over his Pumas because he wanted to wear Puma boots, but he was sponsored by High-Tech. So that was my job as a first year YTS.
Amazing.
Yeah, Mickey Quinn.
Did High-Tech ever find out about this? Well, they must have been furious.
They have now. Sorry, Quinny.
If the High-Tech executives are listening, you just cost Mickey Quinn his conservatory.
Oh, he's brilliant. What a top lad, Quinny. He's brilliant.
The change has just happened, by the way. Abubakar Kamara is on. Had a bad time last time he was in the Premier League with Fulham under Claudio Ranieri, where he was bombed out of the club. But he has now come on for the hard-working, if ineffective, Bobby de Cordova-Reid, who did used to be just Bobby Reid.
Yeah.
I actually don't know why that changed. Whether he got married or something, I don't know. But I just decided to be called that now. Anyway, I'm glad he's off, but it's hard to say. Camera, easy, I can do that. Though Abubakar has its challenges. 72 minutes gone here. Here's Anthony Robertson, the USA international, into Mario Lemina. Pokes towards Camera, intercepted by Stones. Cleared away as far as Adarabioyo. Anguissa in the centre circle, back to Adarabioyo again, trying to find Robinson. Maybe Loftus-Cheek. It's gone straight to Riyad Mahrez, who slips in Gabriel Jesus, who's goal side of Adarabioyo, right hand side. Got the ball caught under his feet there at the last. Gabriel Jesus. Adarabioyo did get back at him, but you do expect more from the Manchester City centre forward.
Yeah, brilliant recovery. A poor mistake to start with, but he covered the ground so quick with those long legs of his. But like you say, Jesus is just a striker who's through on goal the wrong side of the centre back. You expect him to go on and at minimum get a shot away, but just his confidence doesn't look the highest at the moment, Jesus, and he's not capitalising on the opportunities and the chances he's getting.
73 minutes gone now. Just a reminder, we have more football for you today. 2 further games in the Premier League. The late game is a revival of an old rivalry as Chelsea take on Leeds United. Before that, David Moyes looks for revenge against Manchester United with high-flying West Ham. We'll give you the headlines from the team news shortly as Man City look to carry the ball down the right-hand side here. Ball goes into touch for a goal kick.
Yeah, Fulham just gave the ball away from their own throw-in. They threw it square and then completely got intercepted. What they don't want to do now is to give Man City a third goal. And that really will kill the game off. Whereby at the moment, I say they're not threatening, they're not causing any trouble, but it just takes one little thing to drop for them. Suddenly they nick a goal, and it could be a nervy end to the game for City.
Well, they're still hanging in this game, aren't they, Fulham? And that's to their credit, because they went 2-0 down reasonably early. In the 5th minute was the first goal, 26th the second. And they're still in it, in with a shout. If they can score, as Kit says, it's a totally different game. Here's Loftus-Cheek trying to create a chance for Lookman. Lobs one into the area, cleared away by Cancelo. De Bruyne loses out to Aina. Oh, what is he doing there? He's just swung the boot at the ball like he was afraid of it. Some of 45 yards out, and he's just fired it 20 yards wide.
That was bizarre.
That is what I would do. I always think that when something like that happens. That is exactly what I would do in this situation. But I am not a professional footballer. I mean, what is he thinking?
I mean, he has scored one worldie this season, but that was optimistic to say the least.
If you're Fulham as well, I mean, Camara's just come on. They've got Loftus-Cheek, Lookman. There's goal scorers out there. There's attacking talents out there. They must all be turning around at him now going, what are you thinking there, mate? As we are.
If not slightly stronger.
Yes, well, we're broadcast quality, aren't we? You can't say exactly what they said. And if anything did come out on the effects mics, we can only apologise. Of course, we don't have supporters here at the Etihad Stadium. Manchester is still in a higher tier than other parts of the United Kingdom. But we will have fans at London Stadium up next as West Ham take on Manchester United. We'll also have them at the Bridge when Chelsea take on Leeds. Tomorrow's games, we should have supporters at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium and Anfield for Tottenham Arsenal, Liverpool Wolves. Also tomorrow, West Brom Crystal Palace and Sheffield United Leicester City. Chance here for Cavaliero's gone out right, with Camera now on the wing. Shot by Cavaliero's on target, not bad at all from Cavaleiro, swinging and spinning into the top corner, but it was well saved by Ederson. Little wake-up call there for Manchester City. Up towards Jesus, and the referee has given an extremely soft free kick as Andersen was standing near Jesus when that ball was fired up to him.
Yeah, that was Fulham's first shot on target in the game, and the game's just taking a bit of a lull at the moment, but that will encourage Fulham a little bit. And like I say, Man City do need a little bit of a wake-up call, because they have just it's gone into a bit of a low, like I say. I think maybe could be a couple of changes coming from them quite soon.
Well, that's why the third goal does feel important for Manchester City, and maybe is why those changes haven't happened as yet. Kevin De Bruyne and Riyad Mahrez over this free kick, right of centre, 35 yards from goal. More of a crossing position than a shooting position, but they do still have Kevin De Bruyne, so we'll see. Here's a cross by De Bruyne. Ruben Dias is there. Oh, he's volleyed wide. Looked like he timed his run really, really well, met it firmly, but it's rather spun off the toe as opposed to the instep and gone wide.
Yeah, really poor defending from Fulham. I mean, he's fairly wide of goal, so it's one of those balls that's sort of mid-height between a volley and a header. And I think, being a big centre-half that he is, he probably would have been better throwing his head at the ball on that occasion, but it was just getting slightly away from him, and he's a little bit wide, but poor defending from Fulham to let him get in so easily, and a good ball in from De Bruyne.
We saw Curtis Jones for Liverpool, didn't we, score a similar sort of goal from a similar sort of angle. We used the right foot and kind of turned it beyond the goalkeeper who was out of goal. So you kind of need to follow that example if you're going to score from that angle. Diaz didn't that time, but there's another chance here for City as Riyad Mahrez has it edge of the area. Tries to find Jesus' run. Clearance is blocked. City retake possession with Gundogan on the right. Into Rodri, back towards the halfway line and Stones. 79 minutes on the clock. Manchester City 2, Fulham 0 on Premier League Live. Raheem Sterling and Kevin De Bruyne with the goals. John Stones in the centre circle. On to Gundogan. Further on to a man who's impressed Kit Simons today, João Cancelo. Back to Mahrez. Into Cancelo. Towards the end line. Held up by Lookman. Back to Riyad Mahrez. In towards Sterling. Spinning ball into Raheem Sterling. Spins into touch.
Yeah, very difficult pass there attempted by Mahrez. I mean, he's got the quality to deliver it, but a bright run from Sterling, who has made a lot of really good runs in behind the Fulham defence today, and penetrating and movement, and he's been bright, Raheem Sterling. Obviously been rested from the last couple of Premier League games, but certainly looks sharp enough today.
Paul is with Gundogan as Fulham look to chase him down. He finds a pass right to Cancelo. Back to Gundogan again. On to Mendy, left hand side, midway inside Fulham territory, up against Aina. Good challenge there by Cavaleiro, who's playing deeper now, and he finds Lamina, who looks to run down the sideline. Gets away from Mendy, surely pulled him down. Referee's not giving it. Fulham carry on here with Cavaleiro. Takes a shot to goal. Oh, it's wide from Cavaleiro. He had runners right and left, but certainly backing himself right now, Cavaleiro.
Yeah, it's a definite foul on Mendy. I mean, it's
got to be.
Yeah, yeah, definite foul there. But obviously the referee played on, and I think it was quite fairly wide of Ederson's goal in the end. So
he's got runners though, hasn't he? To his left, it looks like Loftus-Cheek and Lookman won it. Right, Camera. So it's a quite tight 4-on-3, but they've certainly got 4 people up there, Fulham, and when you see the replay, as you say, that's so far wide. You know, if you're going to take the shot, you've got to hit the target.
Yeah, you think better options were to keep the ball moving out to the left-hand side. And like you say, they've not had many opportunities at all, Fulham. So when they do come around, you've got to make sure you take them.
Well, now is the time to dare for Fulham, because they have done well enough to keep hanging in this game. The third goal has not been scored by Manchester City to seemingly put them in an unassailable position. Though 2-0 is still pretty steep. Cancelo back towards the halfway line, and John Stones inside the centre circle is Gundogan. First time back to Ruben Diaz. Benjamin Mendy would have been really aggrieved if Cavaleiro had found the top corner, having been dragged to the ground by Mario Lemina. Wonder if VAR might have looked at that. Probably not a clear and obvious error if John Moss has already made a decision. Let's not bring that up. Here's Kevin De Bruyne from the left. Leaves it for Raheem Sterling. Still no changes for Manchester City. They are allowed 3. They'd like 5. And they've made none. Riyad Mahrez under pressure. Back to Kevin De Bruyne. Still a long way from goal here. Into Gundogan. Onto Sterling. Now Mahrez. Edge of the area. Into Jesus. Challenged by Andersen. Good work by Andersen. Then to Anguissa, who turns away from Gundogan. But not for the first time tonight. Anguissa's pass is off target. Comes off a City leg last. Been really impressed with Zambo Anguissa when it comes to his defensive work in this game, Kit, but offensively some of his passing has been a bit erratic.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, his game is breaking things up and then sort of breaking forward at pace with the ball, which was the first goal for Fulham against Leicester the other night, and that's what his real strengths are. As an actual sort of get on the ball and playing that quarterback roles, like changing the play and switching passes from side to side, that's not really is the strength of his game, to be honest.
Another change for Fulham. Ruben Loftus-Cheek withdrawn. Tom Kearney is now on, a player you know well, Kit.
Yeah, obviously signed Tom when I was in charge as Fulham manager from Blackburn. He's been a brilliant servant for the football club, and a couple of promotions, and a really, really good player, Tom.
Still trying to really make a name for himself in the Premier League. Tom Kearney, so often when he drops down to the Championship, is the best player in the division. Finds a lovely ball out left to Robinson here, into Anguissa, back to Kearney again. This time the pass, just as we're saying how good he is, goes straight into touch. That gives me a moment to cross to Russ Hargreaves, who is our lead commentator for West Ham against Manchester United. Up next, here's the team news.
Yes, Tom, just one change for West Ham. Sebastian Haller starts up front after that fine winner at Sheffield United a couple of games ago. There is no Mikel Antonio, who's got a new hamstring problem. Otherwise, David Moyes' team unchanged to that, which has won its last 3 Premier League matches. Manchester United have won 3 straight, but lost to PSG in the Champions League in midweek. And 5 changes from the team that came from behind to beat Southampton. Dean Henderson's back in goal for the injured David De Gea. Paul Pogba, Edinson Cavani, what form he's in. Scott McTominay and Anthony Martial all come into the team. Fred is now suspended, and down to the bench Nemanja Matic, Bruno Fernandes and Marcus Rashford, who missed training on Friday with a shoulder problem.
Russell Hargreaves, thank you very much indeed. Looking forward to that one at the Bowl of Disappointment, the London Stadium or Olympic Stadium. Many names for West Ham's home ground. David Moyes up against Manchester United, of course. Gabby Agbonlahor is with Russ for that game, as Fulham have a free kick here from deep. They swing it in from the left-hand side, cleared away by City, but Fulham retake it again. They've got their captain and centre-half Andersen down the right-hand side here, crossed by Aina, spinning into the hands of the City goalkeeper Ederson. And they've had little flashes, little moments, little half chances to create something, Fulham, but have certainly lacked conviction in the final third today.
Yeah, they have. I think some of that is down to, let's say, City have been defensively, they've looked a lot more solid than maybe sometimes previously. Like I say, when they attack, they look quite vulnerable on the counter, and teams like Tottenham just played into that. But today, City, although they've had plenty going forward and numerous opportunities, when there has been a turnover and Fulham have won it, they've been in a decent position, a decent shape, City as well. So I think maybe you can say a little bit of a lack of ambition from Fulham, but they're going to the Etihad. If they were too committed to scoring. They would have probably conceded more, but I think City need quite a lot of the credit. And John Stones, someone we spoke about, has not literally put a foot wrong, other than that one maybe back pass,
which was Ederson's fault, wasn't it?
Which I think was Ederson's fault. Yeah. As a centre half, I keep the centre half union and blame the keeper all day long.
As it should be.
That's how that one works, Tom. Yeah.
No, I'll make you right on this one. That Ederson, what was he up to? And got away with it. And Manchester City have cruised really throughout this second half. 71% of the ball, 16 attempts across the entire game, 6 on target. No real great work for Areola to do in this second period. And of course, Man City back in Champions League action in midweek against Marseille. Champions League dead rubber. So they will be wanting just to fresh for that before back in Premier League action in the big one at Old Trafford next week against Manchester United.
But I do think from a Fulham perspective though, Tom, although it's not, well, it's still got 4 or 5 minutes of regulation time to go.
Still got hope.
Still hope. It's not worked out for Fulham as of yet, and I don't, if I'm honest, I can't see it happening for them. But I still think they adopted the right approach going into the game, rather than being as open as they have done at the start of the season. Similar approach they did against Everton. It's not quite been as good a performance from Fulham at all, but you've got to give credit to City. They've looked excellent going forward. But I still think this is the right way, the right approach for Fulham to, if they're going to retain Premier League status. I think it's what they need to do.
Of course, it could come down to goal difference as well. Burnley are in the mix at the moment down the bottom, and they were smashed for 5 here. So already it's a 3 better goal difference from a trip to Manchester City. It could prove pivotal. Teams have gone down many times on goal difference.
And if it does finish at 2-0 as it is now, as it stands at the moment, that won't dent Fulham's confidence at all. Teams will be expecting sort of like a 2-0. If it comes 4 or 5, that can affect you a little bit. But no, 2-0 will be certainly no shame or embarrassment whatsoever.
Yeah, we have a saying here in England: wipe your mouth and move on. And that very much is what this would be for Fulham, I think. Let's not mention it again. Crossfield from Andersen here, trying to find Lookman, gets there before Cancelo, bites back at him and gets City clear. Riyad Mahrez, first time back to Rodri, into Jesus in the centre circle, on to Kevin De Bruyne. Could have had a few tonight. Kevin De Bruyne has got 1 from the penalty spot. Forward to Sterling, the other goal scorer, 88 minutes down, 2-0 to City, who don't seem to be in much need of the third goal now.
I mean, that's the thing. Although they did score 5 against Burnley last weekend, I think they probably created as many, if not more, chances and better chances today's game. You've got to say Areola's made 3 excellent saves in the Fulham goal, and then they should have done better on a couple of other occasions, but also scored 2 good goals.
It's Kevin De Bruyne on the halfway line, challenged by Aina. Goes down to play for a throw into City in front of Pep Guardiola as we enter the last minute of the 90. Anguissa is running back for Fulham. Here's Andersen into Tom Cairney in the centre circle. On to Anthony Robinson, who's got a good driving turn of pace here. Into Cairney, tries a return ball, well read by John Stones in his own penalty area as Fulham look to find a way back into this game late on. Cleared upfield by City. Andersen gets there before Mahrez, knocks it back to his goalkeeper Areola, left-footed. He then fires into touch. Well, that was a nice move there by Robinson and Cairney, and would have come off if not for the alertness of John Stones.
Yeah, good break from Robinson. I mean, he looks a good signing for Fulham, and it's last minute of the 90, and he's making a lung-busting run forward. Real desire and determination. So, yeah, good from Fulham there.
Yeah, brought to the Premier League from Wigan, Anthony Robinson, who was actually on his way to AC Milan back in January before that deal collapsed after an issue with his heartbeat was uncovered during the medical. That has now been fixed, and he's got to move to the Premier League with Fulham. A man who chose to play for the United States internationally, eligible through his father. As we get confirmation from the 4th official here that just 2 minutes will be added on at the end of this game. hasn't really been an incident-packed second half, I think that's fair to say. Mendy on the sideline controls, back towards Ruben Dias. It's a cruise, really, for Man City in this second half.
Yeah, certainly the game's gone into a bit of a lull, certainly. And
a bit of a lull?
Yeah, understatement.
I'd say it's been a 60-minute lull. It's only you and me bringing the entertainment round here. Upfield by City, high in the air. No substitutions at all today for Manchester City. I wonder if that's making any sort of statement, considering the Premier League meeting this week from the CEOs, which ended in no conversation at all about the 5 subs, something that Liverpool's Jurgen Klopp has been banging on about in the last few weeks. Very interested to see what Guardiola has to say about that post-match. Of course, you'll hear from Guardiola later in our programming. As Anguissa finds a pass outright to Aina. Anguissa into Tom Kearney in the centre circle. Back towards Andersen, on towards Lookman. Left-hand side, Robinson outside. Here he is now, left-footed cross into touch, and we are only 30 seconds away now from the sweet release of the full-time whistle.
Yeah, it's been very comfortable for Man City, and they'll be... Although Pep would have wanted more goals, as we said, to continue from the big Burnley win, I think overall be happy with the way his team's played and the number of chances, good chances they've created.
Fulham have another tough test up next against Liverpool at Craven Cottage next Sunday, before a run of games where they'll be hoping for some points. Brighton at home, Newcastle away, Southampton at home.
Well, a good thing from their point of view, though, Tom, they would have looked at this run of games and almost written them off, and they went and got a win against Leicester, so they're sort of 3 points better off than they thought they would have been.
And there goes the full-time whistle at the end of a game that, in truth, was over in the 26th minute when Kevin De Bruyne made it 2-0 from the penalty spot. Raheem Sterling won the penalty, the 20th time he has won a spot kick in his Premier League career, more than any other player in the history of this competition. He also opened the scoring in the 5th minute, having missed a chance earlier than that. So, could have been more comfortable for Manchester City. Wasn't in the end, though. Fulham never really troubled Ederson at the other end. Full time here in our second of 4 feature games in the Premier League today. It has finished Manchester City 2, Fulham 0. Bruyne wins the ball in the centre circle and slips in Raheem Sterling, who's one-on-one with the goalkeeper again, and he missed the first chance but doesn't miss the second. Slots the ball into the bottom corner.
Sterling gets between the two centre halves. He's just too quick for them, and a really good finish this time. Just rolls the ball into the far corner and across Areola, but a very, very good goal, but made and created by Kevin De Bruyne with power, pace, and then a perfectly weighted pass.
Into Raheem Sterling, out of his body. Can he shoot? He's away from Andersen, goes to ground, and that will be a penalty. Kevin De Bruyne, having set up the opening goal, looks to score the second, and does score the second for Manchester City. Jesus for 3, dummies 1, back to Kevin De Bruyne, hits the crossbar. Loops up in the air, Kevin De Bruyne again on the volley, this time it's over the crossbar, and it's a slap of the turf from Kevin De Bruyne. Frustrated there because that's 2 great chances to score, and he's missed them both. That's how it's finished here at the Etihad Stadium. Comfortable win for Manchester City against Fulham. Kit Simons, who played for both and managed Fulham, watched it with me, and in the end it was plain sailing all the way through for Manchester City. So easy this game, they didn't even make a substitute.
Yeah, very, very comfortable. I mean, the only surprise is that they didn't score more goals, really. But yeah, a good afternoon for Manchester City, and not disastrous for Fulham either. To come away with just a 2-0 deficit, as we spoke about, Tom, during commentary, goal difference could be important for them at the end of the season.
Important for City as well to win this, because with that result, they are up to 4th in the table. They began the day top of the bottom half, and as we mentioned, it's a very tight Premier League at the moment. From 15th up to top, not many points separating the entire division, but psychologically for Man City, they want to be in the top 4, they should be in the top 4, they will finish in the top 4, and for the first time this season they are there.
Yeah, I think that's a big statement for them, and it will mean a lot. And because you look at the table, Man City in the bottom half of the table. This can't be right. What's going on here? So they needed to resolve that. Now they did have games in hand and stuff like that, so which we spoke about. But just I think psychologically seeing themselves up in that top 4, then they can really start pushing on.
And they are only 3 points off being league leaders after 10 games played. Of course, they are 1 week back of everyone else, having not played in the opening round of this season. Elsewhere today, as you know, there were 2 further games in the Premier League. West Ham against Manchester United up next with Russell Hargreaves and Gabby Agbonlahor. Later, Chelsea Leeds with Barry Swain in the hot seat alongside Paul Parker. Tomorrow, 4 games in the Premier League, including Tottenham up against Arsenal, the North London derby, where Spurs look to go clear at the top of the Premier League table, whilst Arsenal, very similar to City, are looking to get into the top half. Let's hear from Jose Mourinho, the manager of Tottenham Hotspur, who, much like David Moyes and Frank Lampard today, is looking forward to having fans back for home games.
It depends on the fans, depends on the profile, depends on the way people will face the game. Do they want to go to the most beautiful stadium in England and enjoy that, or do they want to go and play the game? If they want to enjoy the stadium and their passion for football, I don't think makes a big difference. If they want to go there and play, if they want to go there and wear a Tottenham shirt and play the game, that yes, I think that can give a little bit more of motivation and pleasure for us.
Yeah, Jose Mourinho, what's the right type of fans? I'm assuming that means Tottenham fans. I don't know, but they are going to be in attendance for the North London derby tomorrow. Kit Simons, what do you make of Tottenham's start to this season? And could Jose really do it and make being Spursy associated with winning as opposed to getting it wrong at the last moment?
Well, you've got to say he's done a very good job there. I mean, when he went in, I think a lot of raised eyebrows. Is he a Tottenham manager? But he's gone in and he's turned it round. We spoke before the show, Tom. It might be different if there were fans in there because of the style of play.
Yeah.
I think the Tottenham fans would expect more attacking football, and they might let that be known. But you look at the results, and Tottenham being top of the league, would they take that? Of course they would.
Very interesting to see if there is a material impact on the field with fans coming back in. Of course, there are fans at the Bowl of Disappointment next, the London Stadium for West Ham against Manchester United, so we'll see what impact they have. Fans can have a positive impact, but of course they can get on your back as well, can't they, if performances aren't going particularly well. So tomorrow we've got West Brom against Crystal Palace, Sheffield United, Leicester City, Tottenham against Arsenal and Liverpool Wolves. Monday Night Football this week is Brighton against Southampton. Still to come today, Chelsea against Leeds United, Burnley Everton finish 1-1 in the day's early game, and up next it is David Moyes and West Ham United looking to climb to third in the Premier League table against a Manchester United side who knows what you're going to get from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's Manchester United. Here in our second feature game of the day, Man City have climbed to fourth in the table with an easy victory over newly promoted Fulham by 2-0. Raheem Sterling and Kevin De Bruyne with the goals. My thanks to Kit Simons for his company. Stick with us for West Ham Man U next. You're listening to Premier League Live.
Demanding a high performance.